Hello children, welcome to this part 2 English poem. Today I will teach you the poem, the second poem, The Stolen Boat. You don't have first one, that is excluded from your reduced portion. That is the Sonnet 73, that the time of the year, written by Shakespeare, is a reduced portion. So I am going to teach you the second poem, The Stolen Boat, written by William Wordsworth. Now, in this poem, about the poet William Wordsworth, 1770 to 1850 he lived. William is one of the greatest poets of English literature. The episode of The Stolen Boat is based on the experience of Wordsworth's early boyhood days. This is an extract from Book 1 of Wordsworth's great philosophical poem, The Prelude. Now, he has written a number of lyrical ballads. His specialty was to make the natural sound supernatural. Always he has described about the nature, and also he says in all his poems that after enjoying the nature, that remains in his mind forever, evergreen in his memory. That is the end in all the poem he has explained. Now, first I would like to read hard words. Stealth, sparkling, unswerving, boundary, pinnace, craggy, undetermined, meadows, trembling, spectacle. Now you know how to read the hard words. You observe my pronunciation. Now I'll read a glossary. That's the meaning. Unswerving means steady. Steady means very, very slow. Craggy ridge means the mountainside. Steep barrow crag in England. Mountainside. All the rocks are all, unevenly packed up. That's nature. Meadow, grassland. Spectacle means sight, scenery. Stature means height. He says about the mountains. They are all of a high, great height. Now, you see children here, the stolen boat. A small boy is rowing the boat. Then the water, how no? The pleasing in the water, and opposite to that he is seeing the nature, that's the mountains. The range of mountains are all spread, and they are very happily. Now I am going to read that summary, then you will understand what has happened. Now I will read once the poem, afterwards I will explain the summary. One summer evening, I found a little boat tied to a willow tree. You can understand? Willow tree means the name of the tree. Within a rocky cave, his usual home, stayed. I unloosed her chain. Her means what? Boat. And stepping in, pushed from the shore. It was an act of stealth and troubled pleasure. Nor without a voice of mountain echoes did my boat move on, leaving behind her still, her means again boat, on either side, small circles glittering idly in the moon, until they melted all into one track. Here I told you children that her means boat. Boat means here, what is the figure of speech, you know that? Personification. That is giving, that's personification. Follow? Giving life to boat, that is her human trait they are giving. So this is called personification. I'll continue. Of sparkling light, but now like one who rose, proud of his skill, to reach a chosen point with an unswerving line, I fixed my view upon the summit of a craggy ridge, the horizon's utmost boundary. Far above was nothing but the stars and the grey sky. She was an elfin pinnace, lustily I dipped my oars into the silent lake, and as I rose upon the stroke, my boat went heaving through the water like a swan. When from behind that craggy steep till then, the horizon bound a huge peak, black and huge, as if with voluntarily power instinct upraised its head. I struck and struck again, and growing still in stature, the grim shape towered up between me and the stars, and still, for so it seemed, with purpose of its own, and measured motion like a living thing, stood after me. With the trembling oars I turned, and through the silent water stole my way back to the covert of the willow tree. There in her mooring place I left my bark, and through the meadows homeward went in grave and serious mood. But after I had seen that spectacle for many days, my brain worked with a dim and undetermined sense of unknown modes of being over my thoughts. There hung a darkness, call it solitude or blank desertion. No familiar shapes remained, no pleasant images of trees, of sea or sky, no colors of green fields, but huge and mighty forms that do not live like living men, move slowly through the mind by day and were a trouble to my dreams. Now, I'll explain the summary, children. Now, before that, I want to say they are given, that is, Hermit, I told you already that is boat. And meanwhile explaining, I will explain the meanings also. The poem, The Stolen Boat, is an extract taken from Wordsworth's long autobiographical poem, The Prelude, consisting of 14 books. Prelude is consisting of 14 books. One name they are given for all the volumes. This poem is taken from book number 1. I have already explained you. And summary I am going to read. The Stolen Boat is related to one memorable incident of his childhood. See here in the picture you are seeing a small boy. He is only in the, later he became Wordsworth the poet. Now when in childhood he wrote the boat. The Stolen Boat is related to one memorable incident of his childhood. The poet describes that one summer evening, led by the promptings of nature, he found a little boat tied to a willow tree within a rocky cave where it was usually tied. He immediately untied the chain and got in and rowed away, filled with guilty pleasure and anxiety. The mountain echoed the sound made by the boat, and it left small circles of water gleaming means shining, under the light of moon, till all of them were mixed up and became a single track of glittering lights. But like a person who rose with a sense of pride in his skill to reach straight to a selected spot without any deviation, the poet fixed up his gaze. Gaze means what? Looking at the same point, looking at the same target. On the peak, the poet fixed up his gaze on the peak of an uneven mountain which formed the farthest boundary on the distant horizon. Above the poet there were nothing but the grey sky and the stars. Now while rowing the boat, what will be there? Above the sky only, sky will be there and stars will be there. And he is rowing the boat in the water. The poet's lovely boat had a fairy-like appearance. The poet dipped the oars vigorously into the lake as he rose up after the stroke to move it forward. His boat moved from behind that uneven range of high hill which till now he was felt a boundary now loomed up suddenly as a huge and black peak having a life of its own. He continued to row, but this looming mountain seemed to stand between him and the stars. It seemed to the poet as if the mountain was a living creature following him with regular steps with some fixed purpose of its own. With the oars trembling in his hand, he changed his course and moved on silently over the calm surface of the lake to be back to the shelter of the willow tree. Why he came to the willow tree back? Can you guess? Because he untied the boat. It was tied there. He untied and took the boat and then went around for a long time, and then again he came back to the willow tree. Why? To tie the boat. After tethering the boat, the poet returned home in thoughtful mood. Even after many days, his mind was still haunted by a vague means what? Strange, not clear, and strange feeling that there is mysterious form of life in nature beyond the knowledge of man. His mind was clouded by a deep darkness, and all previous knowledge was wiped out. He was without any impression of all previously known objects and pleasing sights like that of trees, sea, sky, or colors of green fields. Only huge forms and ships whose mode of life is absolutely different from that of man. Haunted in his mind, haunted means searching. I want back like that. Haunted his mind during the day and also troubled him at night in his dreams. And this is about, thus, in this poem, the poet narrates the experience of his boyhood, which left upon him a profound awareness of the wisdom and spirit of the universe. Now, one question I would like to ask you children. Now, when you were very small, now you are all 16 years or 15 years old. Now, there will be a memorable incident might have happened in your childhood. Maybe 5 years, 6 years or 10 years like that. You will recall now. That will be imprinted in your mind. Very rarely it will come and go, or sometimes the dream also very rarely it will come and go. Like that, even this poem also, The Stolen Boat, it is a memory of his childhood. Now, William Wordsworth has grown very big. Now he has written that poem of his childhood, recalling all his enjoyment with the nature. So nature is beautiful, he says. Now, I hope that you understood, children, this poem, very beautiful poem about the nature and the poet. Now, by this, I conclude. I will send you notes. I post the notes later. Thank you.